Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. This is episode 41, and we haven't done a show for about 3 months, I think. Something like that.
Wow, 3 months.
Yeah, so we took a little bit of a break, and we're back on for a couple more episodes, and we just keep piling them on. And we have a really balanced group today. We have 3 girls and 3 guys.
Are we talking emotionally balanced?
I'm out.
I'm a wreck, man. I'm a wreck.
Jayce has got his own
breathalyzer. Thank you for coming.
No.
So, anyway, before we get going here, I got to let you know you can find She Said, He Said on Spreaker. We have several podcasts. So we're out on iHeartRadio, Spotify, all those good places. You can also find us on Good Talk Radio on the Cutting Edge Radio Network. And I think that covered most of it. So there's no excuse not to hear us because we're all over the place. And so before we get going, I also wanted to mention that we are changing our theme a little bit. We used to be totally a love and romance kind of show, and we kind of like, well, let's twist it a little bit and get more of the men and women's views on things, on different subjects without getting too political or too crazy. And it will still touch on love and romance. And so I want to say hello to the panel. So how's the panel today?
Hey. Good. I just want to say I'm impressed. Whoever's in the kitchen, I'm impressed anybody's in the kitchen. Who's cooking?
Oh, that's not cooking.
I think that's her cat.
No, that's my son eating cereal for dinner.
Oh.
Hey, there you go. Mom of the year.
I was like,
well, before I get going, let me make sure and introduce everybody. On the top right next to me is Bambi.
Hey.
Chandra, how are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here. How are you?
I'm super. And you're from Vegas, right?
Yep.
And I hear it's kind of toasty in Vegas.
It is. It's 90 today, but it was 99 on Saturday.
Oh my
Boom.
God.
Yeah.
And I heard that Vegas is kind of coming alive again.
It is. You know, and
like good or
there's
bad.
some real mixed emotions about that, but it is what it is.
We have a Facebook user who says, "Hello, Phoenix from Canada."
Oh,
Wow.
hi.
I don't have the name of the person, but it just says Facebook user. Yeah.
Aw,
Nice.
nice.
Is that
So
really
moving right
Gorgeous
along,
George?
we got gorgeous George. How are you today?
Just fine. How you guys doing? Hello, everybody.
How's the
Hello.
world in Texas?
It's warm, but it's been very beautiful. Nice and sunny skies. Just loving it.
You getting any humidity yet?
No, not really. Actually, you call it the monsoon season, and I don't know what they're talking about.
By the way,
I got nothing. I got nothing on the monsoon
we
season.
have a good evening to everyone from
Good evening, Michael.
Good evening, Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Before I forget, go down back. I'm gonna hit old Jayce in the corner there. Producer Jayce, how are you doing?
Howdy. Outstanding. It was also 90 degrees here today, and we got a little bit of rain. Yeah.
You're in
I was gonna
Florida,
say,
right?
You had humidity. Though.
Then again,
Florida?
like you said, Jacksonville.
Oh, nice.
Hello, Dan Rodriguez. Hello. Yeah, it was 90 degrees, and I stayed inside all day because I'm fat and I produce sweat in places people shouldn't sweat from.
you got a little swamp ass going on.
Yeah, whole swamp ass.
Swamp ass.
I'm sitting on a towel, but don't tell anyone.
And moving right over to, we have a California in the room.
We do.
Lynn Beck is with us.
Flynn, like Errol Flynn.
Yeah, Flynn.
There you go.
I old habits. Circle clap.
Yeah.
You just got back to California, which is where you are normally at, but you've been taking care of family, I hear.
Yep. And I was in Florida like Jayce. I was in Orlando.
Yeah, you're about 3 hours south of where I was.
Yep.
Wow.
I'll say COVID was more bearable in Florida than it was in California. I like COVID in Florida.
Really?
It's just you could do everything but just wear a mask. Here we're so limited. It's like the Holocaust.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad over there. Same with Washington. They're about 50% right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because we're headed that direction. We're probably going to head over there in June. So we're going to be kind of shocked because we're like at 100% here open.
Yeah.
And over there, we're going to be limited to 50%. So it's going to be interesting.
Before I forget, Flynn, could you tell us a little bit about your show?
Oh, well, yes, of course. I have a show on love, sex, and intimacy every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. LA time. I know that's so snobby of me. I should say Pacific Standard Time. But I say LA time. And the topic yesterday was a really interesting one. It was on what's the biggest reason for divorce. And I felt that it was very germane with the Melinda and Bill Gates, with the Gates Gate. We should go ahead and talk about that. So that was kind of a hot topic, the Gates Gate.
I bet.
Nice.
All right. Well, moving right along, we have Tracy Lou. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How's everyone?
I'm doing good. How's the world of Arizona?
It is getting warm. We had a high of 99 today, but yeah.
But it's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat. It's just like sitting in your oven.
Yeah.
We're supposed to hit 100 tomorrow, so it's a little early in the year to be breaking those 3 digits, but I think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So before we
hide indoors.
To kind of change things up a little bit, usually we go straight into some kind of love and romance and something that gets off to the edge there. And we're leaving Jayce to take us to the edge on this show. I wanted to kind of get opinions between guys and gals here about what they're hearing about food shortages and inflation. Do you think we're going to really have problems with food?
Yeah. Hang on. Let me show you this real quick. No,
I don't think so. No, I think he's good right where he's at.
Yeah, I think
heard anything about
inflation might do you a little good, Jayce.
Shut up, Rob.
I was gonna say, nor the shortages.
In my pants, yeah. I got a tiny wiener. I have no problem saying it.
That can go a lot of ways there, brother.
Wait, how did this go from inflation and food to your penis size, your size of your junk?
He just
that's where the shortage is. There's a shortage in my pants. I have a tiny wiener.
Rob said he was going to go there, and he went there.
I told you.
In record time.
That's what
record time.
Flynn, since you've been gone,
not only do we
take
have
a big jump sometime,
or a little jump in this case, a little tiny jump.
They're not little jumps anymore; they're big jumps.
Okay,
that was a big hop there. Here you go, brother.
So up in Vegas, I gotta get you guys back on track.
There's an upside to a small wiener. There's an upside to that. We'll go there when you're ready.
Oh, that's like a little Lynn and a big Flynn.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to my subject here. So
wow, we left that one quick.
Chandra.
Bambi.
So you're in the crazy world of Vegas and stuff. Are you finding yourself making new choices and stuff when it comes to buying food, going out to dinner, or anything like that lately?
Not so much. Food is kind of weird the way it is at the store. We have more issues with water than anything else, it seems like. And it kind of depends on which grocery store you go to. Somebody might have water, somebody doesn't have creamer. You go to a different store and somebody has something else and somebody doesn't have that. And so it really hasn't affected us that much per se. I mean, honestly, throughout this whole inconvenienced, yes, but no, I mean, it's not bad. And I'm just going to give a side note, and I don't care how politically incorrect it is. We eat a lot of Mexican food in my house because I think I am part Mexican, even though I don't look it. And so there always seems to be refried beans and things like that on the shelf. So we're good to go. And by the way, not trying to be politically incorrect, but it is what it is.
And George, I know you hate the Mexican food, right?
Oh, it's horrible. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. I love Mexican food. We were trying to find some today. Tracy was eating some in our face. But that's all right.
Because I have a place across the street.
Another day.
Do you want me to go get some soul fry made?
But anyway, no, actually, we don't have the food shortages are actually pretty good. You know, my fiance works with kids, and so they actually get the school district takes care of a lot of those families, and they give them like monthly. They'll give them like a food distribution, so they give them a whole bunch of cool stuff. So they're very good here in Texas about food shortages and things like that. So they've been helping a lot, quite a bit, on just about every aspect of it. So no, I don't think they're. I mean, Texans love their fast food. Oh my gosh, Chick-fil-A is around the block 5 times around the block just to get Chick-fil-A, and I mean it's insane. So all the fast food joints, I mean, you know, they're just always packed. So 100% here. It's open. Everybody's doing whatever they want. They're having a great time and just, you know, enjoying life. So they all mask up, though. That's the cool thing. The people say, hey, mask up. They mask up. No big deal. Even they don't even have to, because it's already been like mask mandates been dropped like for months now.
Has it? I just came back from Utah this past week, and we were in Salt Lake City area, and it was kind of bizarre because some places had it and some places didn't. The only place that we chose to walk out of was a place that was making sandwiches, and none of the staff was wearing a mask. And I went,
yeah, I would have walked out of there too.
Wait a minute. I mean, I think you should have a mask on even when you're not in COVID if you're making my food. But besides that, I was like, I think I'm not going to eat here.
Might as well have been wiping his ass with his sandwich.
So, Flynn, you're a home cook. Are you? I can see you're cooking at home every day. You're a homemaker kind of person.
Do I really come across like I'm a cook?
That's amazing.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure of it. I mean, you're making homemade bread and everything. So I
is that really the facade that I'm giving y'all?
That's amazing. Wow, I never even.
Not that I love Rob's fantasy.
Yeah, you know what? Me too.
Can't you picture Flynn walking around in the kitchen with a apron on and a bikini?
Somebody might say with nothing else on.
Gotta do the ponytail. Gotta do the ponytail, and then the little, apron, and then the glasses. Flynn, go in the kitchen, throw a little flour here and there, and you totally get that out.
I think the woman's place in the kitchen is on the counter.
Yeah, now you're talking. And we went there, and that was only like 15 minutes ago we started, and we went there again.
Yeah, wow. Victoria wants
I was actually going to ask this question, but Victoria, she got to it. Does anybody here do any of your own homegrown food?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Does mold in the refrigerator count?
Well, in Florida, sure.
That's about all I can master.
You and me both. It's a miracle my kids are alive. Plants don't live here.
No. I still look at my children like, how are you still alive?
Right?
Weren't you just eating glue a couple of years ago in school, and like you survived that? Cool.
If we have a food shortage, you could go back to glue.
I'll say this. I'm not afraid to make my child a quesadilla or eggs. So I do that. I don't know if
as long as it's limited to. Hey, there's nothing wrong with cereal for dinner. I'll pull that stuff once in a while.
How do you make the eggs? Do you make them kind of like brown?
In the pan.
Scrambled like that? Olive oil. Okay.
Olive oil. And then my grandfather, he's from Mississippi. Or he was from Mississippi. He's now gone. But
you scramble them in the pan?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I agree with Victoria Moore over there. We need to promote more growing and home cooking.
I concur. Yeah, I do.
Yes.
And I will clean up my man's home cooking.
I'm an awesome cook. I would cook the hell out of food. Boy, I love it. I love the cook.
That's how my house works. My husband cooks.
I like your style, Tracy Lou. If I haven't told you that before, I really like your style.
I'm a professional eater. I'll eat all day.
Cereal. Yeah.
He cooks.
You know what?
He married pretty.
It's desperate times, desperate measures. There's cereal for dinner sometimes.
Hey, if I'll eat oatmeal 3 times a day. If I just change the condiment, put a little blueberry for breakfast, a little banana for lunch, a little strawberry for dinner. I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
3 squares. There you
There you
go.
go.
I thought I'd show everybody my nuts.
I don't want it. They're
I
awful
don't need to see
small.
your nuts.
They're awful small, Rob.
So Tracy, I heard that since your husband won a Traeger
Yeah.
barbecue,
Cool.
you're actually cooking at home more, which is I know for a fact is a shocker.
Oh yeah.
He won a Traeger?
Yeah,
Yeah.
at work.
Wow.
So they had a competition at work. If they met certain goals, they all got a Traeger. And so we got a Traeger because we are very competitive in this household. And since then, yeah, we've been doing a lot more cooking. With COVID, I think we are just, we're really tired of, what you can order. And we're finding that we can get way better meals cooking at home. So we actually do quite a bit of cooking at home, and then probably DoorDash it, or Postmates, 2-3 times a week, usually because we have busy evenings. Or I guess cereal for dinner.
Hey,
I just
there's
had my
nothing wrong with
very
that.
first. I just had my very first home delivery service. I got a free trial of it. My sister-in-law sent me a free trial. I'm like, wow, this is good. I'm not cooking any of this shit. I don't eat the vegetables. I don't know how to cook. I barely like to read instructions. So my
Aw.
wife cooked it. I ate it. And I'm like, great, we're not doing this again.
Oh.
So George,
my
do
heart
you cook for your fiance?
Absolutely. All the time.
Good deal.
mm.
I'm missing some.
I
comments
actually,
here.
I'm a very good cook. Actually, when I was a teenager, I worked at Luby's cafeteria here in Texas, in El Paso, and the cooks there taught me everything.
How do you make eggs, George?
How do I scramble eggs? I
Yeah.
put them in a bowl. I crack eggs, throw them in a bowl, and I put my seasoning in with them, and then I whip them really hard with. I whip it really hard. All right, sorry, I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist.
There's a lot of emphasis.
You always put a little bit of milk because it makes them a little fluffier. So I throw a little
Yeah.
milk in them,
Yeah.
make them nice and fluffy.
You
and
whip it
then,
good.
Yeah, I do whip them hard and
Dun,
good.
dun, 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 dun.
Okay, but no, it's actually, and the eggs come out nice and fluffy. So I always make them, if I'm going to scramble them, but if they're over easy, then I'll slightly just kind of slowly crack them and slowly turn them over so they come out nice and perfect.
Do you use butter or do you use olive oil?
I use olive oil because it just has a tendency it's actually better for you.
Of course it is.
So you use olive oil, and the only thing I use butter with is certain things like within mashed potatoes and that kind of thing. So
Gotcha.
but
Wow.
I
olive
felt
oil.
terrible.
So the girls on the panel here, are your guys or dating guys? Do they ever cook for you?
Is that your
I
son?
can't answer that.
Yes, you
Not dating
can.
anybody.
Yes, you can. We cooked for you one time.
Yes, actually, when I was dating way back in the day, George did cook for me. I wasn't dating him, but I was dating his roommate, and they made a fondue meal, and that was fabulous. And so, yes, I
It
have
must have
been
been in the
cooking
70s.
80s.
No,
Close
it was
enough, I think.
the 80s.
They had a fondue pot
Good old
from the 80s.
fondue.
Yeah, exactly. So, but actually, I've had a lot of guys cook for me, which is very unusual because I am the cook, and definitely in my house, I have territorial issues in the kitchen. I don't like anybody to be in there. It's my area. It's my
you
girl
s-
thing.
If
Set that up all wrong. Like I'm telling you. Well, I will
No.
say when I met my husband, he didn't cook. That happened over the years. But we decided to remodel our house a couple years ago, and he had all these requirements for the kitchen. It's his kitchen now. So I'm telling you, if you ever want to lose custody of the kitchen and not have to be the cook, you let him pick. I'm like,
Well,
it's
see,
all
I
good.
don't have a problem with that because my husband will build me anything I want furniture-wise and building-wise, and I am dangerous with a saw, but you get out of my way, man. I can cook you just about anything you
I
want.
gotta tell you, my
Wow.
wife and I still have this conflict because, of course, the kitchen is her favorite. It's her domain. But my
Yes.
favorite place is in the kitchen. and that's the pantry where all the snacks and the goodies are
Oh,
kept. So
hey,
I have to
now.
walk through. I have to walk through her territory to get to mine, and it's like walking through North Korea. You're like, don't see me, don't hurt me, just want to be, Yeah.
This coming from a guy talking to us from a closet.
Yeah,
Fuck up, Rob.
Are you in the closet for real?
Yeah.
He
he is.
came
He
out.
doesn't come
That's my
out of
bad.
the
He just
closet.
came out.
He's in a
He
closet.
came out of the closet.
Yes,
He's in a closet. He's literally
He is
in a closet.
Literally.
Wow.
You want
He
to see
is
my pants?
so in the closet.
Keep your
Flynn.
pants on.
No, we don't. No, you can keep your.
We saw your belly already.
We did. We saw your body part. So
Yeah, we
there you
did.
go.
You're welcome.
So, quick question for Chandra: are your kids still in school?
No, my kids are all grown up.
Oh
Big
man,
adult.
yeah.
I'm a grandma of 11. I have
Ah,
11 grandkids.
holy moly, you're
Yeah.
old.
I am. Like I remember babysitting Moses for God's
You're a
sake.
dick,
Thank
And
Rob.
she still looks amazing.
Thank
still looks
you.
amazing.
Being so
George.
old.
Yeah, I do this a lot. No, anyway, but no, they're not anymore.
Next week, us five will host without Rob. He's a dick.
You know what'll fix that, Chandra? If somebody pulls you by your hair in the back.
Oh, no, there's not enough pulling of my hair to make that go away.
Well, that's not exactly what I meant, but
Yeah.
you know what I
Next
mean?
question, and so even if your kids are grown up, because we do have two people here that have kids still at home.
Uh-huh.
is now that a lot of us have had our kids out of school and been doing homeschooling, and then now some are able to go back if they want to and stuff. Are you hearing or doing changing your mind about letting your kids go back to public school and finding out that we're learning from home's a little better, or you can't wait to get them back into the schools?
Full disclosure, my kids only learned at home the last 2 weeks of last year, which is kind of when COVID hit. So they only did that as soon as schools opened back up. I'm like, get the fuck out of my house. Go away. No, I sleep during the day. I work overnight. I don't need you here asking me about colors and dragons and math questions when I'm trying to sleep. Go away. Nope. They are 8 and 9. My
Such a
9-year-old
good-
has a
such a
cell
good
phone.
parent.
Father of the year. All right. My 9-year-old daughter has a cell phone. She's never called me once. She'll text me from the next room.
I never.
Dad,
called
can I
you
get a
either.
snack? And I go, go to the pantry. Your mom's probably hiding in there. And then I have to tell her, but then my son's like, Dad, can I take a shower? Take a shower. What are you asking me for? Just go take a shower. But my kids have been back in school since school opened up. So
Remember, this is coming from someone talking to you from a closet.
Yes.
I hate you so much right now.
Yeah.
I got your number, Rob.
Yeah, but I never call you.
No, I'll call you.
That's a fact.
So, Tracy, what are you gonna do this with the kids? Are you gonna?
Oh,
get
they're
them
going back.
Oh, that's-
Right after summer ends, they're going right back. There's enough vaccines out there, and there's not enough funding for therapy to keep them at home. And that's for
Not
me.
enough, definitely.
Can't you just
No
buy
doubt.
wine?
I could, but I still have to work from home, and I just can't be drinking and homeschooling and on video chats with my
Here's the thing.
teens.
You can. It's just frowned upon. Doesn't
It is,
nothing
yeah,
says
that's
you
true.
can't.
Although these days, I think I could probably get others to join in. We do
Oh,
have
hell
Fireball Fridays, so I
Ooh.
highly recommend that for your workplace.
Nice.
Wow. I'm down.
Fireball
Flynn,
Fridays.
you got some young nieces and nephews. What's going on with them with school?
Well, I have two stepdaughters. One is 16 going on 30, and the other one is 19. The other one's 19, and she's doing school online at
Mhm.
FITM here in downtown LA. And then the other one just started. They just let her go back to school. She's feisty. She's very feisty. She belongs in school. It was very hard for her to. I mean, it's hard for both of them, but she especially is very social and has had a real hard time with being stay-at-home orders. And then my niece was going to Dartmouth. She's doing it online. And then my nephew is going to Oxford, and he's going in person. And then my other niece is starting graduate school in Florida.
No,
Aren't you sorry you asked?
no, not at all. Yeah, I know you think highly of your nieces and nephews, and it's like I always like to hear about them. So,
Aww.
So
Why
I'm
is
not
he
hearing
sweet
any.
to you and he's a jerk to me, Flynn?
Yeah, I know,
I went to
man.
Harvard.
It's a
He's been
Harvard.
gone a long time.
No, it's just because the words are across their boobs. That's all.
That's right. Yeah,
Oh, Tracy's got the boobs, and Bambi. They both have the boobs. They hide them. I'm like out of my bees.
They come
I'm
out.
out there with my bees. Jayce is showing off his big old belly. I'll show off my bees.
All right, George, what are you showing?
Yeah, I'm pretty content with what Flynn's doing and what you've done. So we're good.
I think George is the gentleman. Gorgeous gentleman George.
that's right.
Exactly right. Thank you, Flynn. I appreciate it.
I'm sure George is packing major heat, though. Major heat.
I would personally give a crotch shot, but I am a Catholic. So
One of us has to. Since I'm not, he
I
has
don't know if
to.
that would go over too well. You know, my priest
Nope,
might be
nope.
watching.
No shortages at George's, huh?
No, we're not asking for pornography here. We just wanted a little description.
It's
Hold on.
voluptuous and very. It's
Too
very
young for this
very
show.
tender and voluptuous. There you go.
There you go.
Guys, we gotta
I'll
get
tell
we
you-
gotta have Tracy on here.
Yeah, Tracy's packing. Both these girls are packing some serious heat. I'm a little envious.
Yeah, but I bought mine, so like, I don't know
Oh
if that
yeah,
counts.
okay.
Mine
Well,
was God
Bambi-
given.
Oh, like,
No.
of course.
If you guys had a little bit higher chair, we could all, decide for ourselves.
Dude,
what-
I'm trying to
That's
tell
all
these
day.
girls.
What?
I've been very open about showing the girls.
Yeah, I've seen your. Well, let's just say I've seen your show. So that's the girls have
Have you
always
seen
been
my
friends
girls?
of mine. Your girls have always been friends of mine.
There is one episode where I do wear a kind of a sheery top. Is that the one you mean?
That's the one I mean.
Yeah.
He probably means that one.
Yeah,
That's the one.
he
He's
told
got
me
a
he's
screenshot
watched
on
that
the
show like
background.
20 times.
I don't have that many views
But
to
we've
present.
seen more of your behind
Yeah.
than the frontage. Yes,
All those views.
I've
That
seen
was
more of
George.
your behind.
Oh, I definitely
because of your
twerk.
dancing. Because of your.
Oh yeah, I
twerking.
twerk. My little booty is always in your face.
Exactly, always in my
But,
face.
but
There you
that
go.
one, I actually wore kind of a transparent top, and it only has like 800 views. I thought it would have way more views.
Me too.
Isn't that crazy? I'm surprised. Maybe they don't know.
I don't think they were. I don't know. They were paying attention because I
Maybe you
sure
had to film in HD.
I think that, I think that.
What room are you in?
Discreet,
What kind of room? I don't remember the room.
Way, right, George?
Yes.
It wasn't too overt. It wasn't like
No, it wasn't too risque. It was just right. It was
Rob, do
just
that
line,
again.
the first line.
I was just checking my size.
To rub us like this.
I think I still got you beat.
They don't, mine won't bounce quite as good as Flynn's, but I'm trying.
Hey, and they're real.
Mine are too.
So
Mine too.
just to be fair, I told you that that's a competitive household. And when my dad was beating me there in the breast sides, that's when I had to go buy my own.
wow.
Ranger Rob.
Oh, he's got man boobs.
He did. Now I
Oh,
beat
those are
him.
good. Those are good, Tracy. Though.
I had A's before, so it wasn't hard
you
to
poor
beat.
thing.
For
That's
those of you who don't know, Tracy is my daughter.
Yeah.
If you don't understand the comparisons. So,
we understand.
yeah. So in this last year, and I'd love to hear kind of more of just as a guy's view and a girl's view, is what are some of the biggest changes you've noticed you've done between a year ago and now as far as your lifestyles?
Wow, yeah, that's a big one for me since I moved from Washington to Texas. So I have actually been, Dad, that was quite the move. Texas is totally different. Obviously, you know that it's a lot hotter, the people here are wonderful, but they're a lot different, and so the cultures are a lot different. So it's been it's been kind of interesting. So the amount of time spent with family has been amazing because I've been able to spend a lot more time with my family that are aging, and I miss them very dearly. So that's why I'm here. I'm back here. But it's been a big change for me. Family's been a major change. It's been great.
We have company.
Hey, there's Lynn.
Hi,
Now
Lynn.
we got Flynn and Lynn. Nice.
Miss Mexico. Where'd you go in Mexico, Lynn?
Puerto Vallarta.
I was right. PV. Yep.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Lynn, I don't know if you met Flynn up above you, but she just got back from Mexico too.
Yeah, I flew into Puerto Vallarta and I flew out of there, but I actually went to Carayas. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Right.
Yeah, it's cool.
He's got some good accent there.
Test?
Thank you. Come again, Lynn?
I said, how was your COVID test?
Oh, negative.
Oh, good. I know it was kind of nice being on the plane thinking like, oh, everybody on the plane home is COVID negative.
Yes, totally. And have you been vaccinated or do you not want to go there? Is that political?
That's okay. I'm cool. I've had both.
Did you do Pfizer or Moderna?
May want to
I got my
abbreviate the
Pfizer
word,
in
but we can talk
December.
about it.
Old news.
What's old news?
I've been vaccinated too. I had the J&J.
Oh, one and
did
done.
you?
One
Yeah,
and
that's
done,
nice.
baby. One and done. It was easy.
Somebody asked me to go, what's the best one to get? And I go, whatever one you can get.
That's right.
That's the best one.
Exactly right. Yeah. Well, the reason why I got it is my doctor basically said, you're susceptible to a wider range of neuropathies that you already have anyway. But I could actually get something a little bit worse than what I have now. And so I said, oh, that would suck. So I went ahead and I said, yeah, I'm gonna get it. So
Did it sound like George said his uterus, or is it just me?
Yeah, no, he definitely sounded like that.
Thank you, Jayce.
neuropathy.
No, when you
not
said
uterus.
when you said your doctor said that you are, and when you said it, it sounded like uterus.
It did. Thank you, Jayce, for having my back in the closet. I
Yep.
like
Yeah.
it.
Yes,
I was
ma'am.
definitely uterus.
No, that's
Back
not
in
what
the
it says,
doesn't.
but that's
It
okay.
really doesn't. It really doesn't help that I'm wearing a pink shirt. In a closet.
You're in a closet.
How's your
I
uterus,
know.
Jay?
My uterus is just fine, sir.
I had mine checked.
Did you? Fantastic.
So we're good. We're all good.
I'm going on
who else has
vacation in
had,
November. I'm just excited about
major
that.
changes this year. I mean, since the beginning of the CV stuff till now, what big drastic things have you maybe missed or gave up and don't mind giving up? Or
That's a good question.
I thought so.
And
Well-
what does CV mean?
You know what it means.
Yeah.
The disease.
If we s-
The big
if we
Corona.
say it, if we say it live, it can cause issues with
Yeah.
YouTube. They'll take the
You
whole
know,
video down.
This
So
pandemic.
Oh,
I can't say that word. Damn did it, because that's pretty good.
I did say damndemic.
Don't put the P in front of it. We'd be in trouble for that too.
I didn't. I did it with a D.
we really
Good
didn't talk
job.
about that. I didn't know that.
congratulations. What's her name?
It's a thing we can't say the words.
Yeah.
YouTube will take
technically
it down.
We were talking about
Welcome to YouTube.
it. Yeah.
Oh man.
And we have
my cousins
how
watching.
many
Is this like
Hey,
don't
Beck.
ask, don't tell?
Yeah.
the word for the shot, the real word for it. We're not
Yeah.
allowed to say that.
Usually we
There
say
we go.
Yeah.
shot or
Ooh, I think I've already gotten in trouble like a lot of times already.
you can say it once in a while. I mean, you don't
Yeah,
ever
every now and then. But
What are we supposed to not say? Oh, that C word.
Oh,
which
yeah,
one?
D word.
The C word is no bueno.
The C
We'll just call
word,
it
the
Aunt
B
Rona.
word. Ah, Aunt Rona.
So,
Yeah, that's good.
who is commenting on that?
Well, I mean, one of the things that I've had to deal with is I'm sure a lot of people viewing and maybe even people here have had to deal with in the middle of this whole thing is loss.
Yeah.
Loss of friends, loss of family, loss of just coworker relationships. I kind of miss having lunch with coworkers because we used to, drop off the phones for 5 or 10 minutes when it was a lull on the calls. We would go grab something to eat, or one person would go grab lunch for everybody. I kind of miss having side conversations, talking to somebody on the phone and talking to your neighbor with your mouth full as often as you're not supposed to. It's what you do in an office setting. It's like, wow, I kind of miss doing that, but I really much prefer working from home in my closet, not wearing pants.
Jason likes to eat too.
Yeah, I like
What's that?
pants.
Jason, you like to eat, don't you?
Yeah.
I like it too.
Who doesn't?
Mouth open and mouth full, and as long as
Hey,
eating's
Jayce,
involved, you're
want
pretty
some of
happy.
my nuts?
No.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
No. I was talking about you the other day, Rob.
Imagine that.
Yeah, right.
Wasn't it?
No, well,
So it has something to do with his nuts?
Yeah.
Kind of.
No,
Somebody heard the commercial I made for you, and they're like, "Oh, I love this song." And I said, "It's really funny. The guy I made this commercial for used to."
That's
And
right.
he yells at me every time he hears a song come on now.
Yeah,
play
that's
it.
right.
You
Come
ruined
on,
my
Jayce,
favorite song.
play it.
What song?
Oh, I have to find it.
Uh,
His commercial.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
you were in a good
Randy,
song.
you're a fine girl. What a good wife you would be.
No, it's taking care of business. So yeah. So in fact, I'm never going to assign you a song to use ever again.
You didn't assign it. I think I picked it.
And by the way, did you guys ever get a chance? I actually hired a company to make me a theme song.
Oh, really?
Yep. So if you get a chance, if you go to my YouTube channel, the introduction video has my my new theme song for Ranger Rob Country Living.
Nice.
I paid big bucks for that. No, it's actually pretty good. They did a good
Oh,
job.
that one's already taken. Sorry.
I don't know if I can actually even load it on this thing.
I could probably do a Rob.
I could do it. No,
Are you super savvy, tech savvy, Jayce?
He's a
Yes,
producer.
ma'am.
A little bit. I taught him everything he knows.
You lie.
Oh.
How many minutes can you run a song before getting in trouble on YouTube or Facebook?
It depends on the
Less
song
than 30
sometimes.
seconds, really.
4
Less than 30
seconds? Is it 4?
It depends. Yeah.
You want me to play the beginning from your killing noxious Swedes and adding security cameras one?
Sure.
Actually, on the top of the channel, there's a introduction video that plays the song.
Let me double check. Because I don't see it here.
Hey, you look good, Lynn. You got a little bit of sun.
I know. If I switch, I don't have bugs. I'm peeling, and so I'm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, we're wondering about the
You by
bug.
mosquito bites? By mosquitoes or no?
No, they don't. The bugs were thick, and some people were really bothered. But I've never been, for whatever reason, they don't bug me. I don't like them buzzing around me, but I don't get bitten.
You're lucky.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I mean, I think it's a B vitamin, or they just, I don't know. They don't like the way I smell, I guess. I don't know.
I was going to say, what type of blood do you have, Lynn? Do you know?
I'm O negative.
Oh, okay. Because I one time had heard that bugs don't like people with negative blood type, and I don't have an issue with them.
Yeah,
I am not an O negative. I'm a B negative. So.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. They don't like me.
Yeah. But I know people around me, they get bit up.
And there was this poor gal that had just.
I'm one of those people that get bit up.
That
Do you know what
well
blood type is?
everywhere. Oh, it's awful.
Mine is B positive.
I'm A positive.
Great motto too.
I found out mine's
Oh,
red.
it is. It's a good motto.
Uh-huh.
Sounds like
It's easy to
cheer.
remember your blood type then.
I know, that's how I remember it. Because I'm always telling people like positive.
I'm astounded at how many people do not know their blood type.
I don't
I
know
did-
mine.
I didn't know it till I wasn't pregnant.
Yeah.
And at that point they told me, I'm like, oh, that's what it is.
If you ever want to know and you don't know, definitely go
Oh,
donate.
we got a video
Alright.
too.
I found it.
Y'all ready? For
Yeah.
some freedom loving, country living, self-reliant Americans in action. Rap and Cherry know just what you're looking for. They got in building installation, and so much more. He'll be coming down the mountain, won't he? This fella ain't no phony. You can know what he knows, one video at a time. Range around, country living. Range
Love it.
around,
Pretty cool, eh?
country living.
Yeah.
Range around, country living.
I'm somebody now.
Range around, country living.
Labels.
That's neat, Rob.
Very nice, Rob. I like it. Very
Just
good.
saying, check your money order in care of Rob Scribner Foundation of the Poor. Since Jayce obviously couldn't find the technical ease of finding it.
Well, I'm looking at the Ranger Rob Country Living Facebook page or YouTube page, and I don't see what you're saying. And I know what you're saying, but I don't see that.
Oh, that's weird. Usually it plays automatically. Oh well.
I think it's probably because you have a live
What
video
the hell
going
were we
right now.
talking
It might be
about?
flipped.
Oh, changes. Anybody notice some of the things? I kind of like the fact of Jayce kind of going through some of the things he misses that we didn't have anymore. I think one of mine would be I miss some of. I don't like them messing around with our liberty. So losing some of our liberties, accountability for ourselves, that kind of bothers me. But
Yeah.
but living out in the country, you don't really notice too many things different here. Just when we go to town and we like, why does everybody got something over their face? It's kind of weird. But,
Yeah, I think I miss the most two things. One, very personal. I miss going to the movies, and I
Yeah.
enjoyed that a lot. And then the other thing I miss is being able to have family game night. We have such a big family, and we used to have family game night, but because some of our family was literally in some overexposed constantly and in their jobs, the other part of the family decided that they didn't want to be exposed at all and really isolated. And so my husband and I were kind of caught in the middle about if we saw this family, we could not go see this family at all. But if we saw this family doesn't care if we go see them, you know? So it's like, it made family gatherings really hard for the
I
whole
agree.
entire
Yeah.
year. And I wouldn't say we're super, super close knit, but when we get together, we're really connected and bond very well. So that really, really sucked. So
You know, did anybody else think they would fare completely differently than they currently are in isolation?
no, I loved being alone.
Well, what I'm saying is, I've never been exposed to isolation. Never really been by myself. Never really kept to myself. Kind of always been out and about, working, doing something, hanging out with friends. I did not think that isolation was going to work out so well for me. Instead, I'm like, home, going there, stay. Go out and buy groceries? Nah, screw that. My wife's at work. She works at a grocery store. I don't have to buy nothing. I don't have to go anywhere. I take the kids to the bus stop. As a matter of fact, my wife and I have worked it out every other day. But I pick them up from the bus stop just about every day that she's not off.
He likes his closet.
I didn't think that I was going to like living in isolation so much. But I'm like, I like this. I'm okay with this.
You
I
like
don't
it
need
so
to
much
go
you're
and
in
do
a closet.
That's right. I got my own little look. I could probably hit the toilet from here. I don't even have to get up.
That would be impressive.
My son can do it.
I think next week we're going to see if we can do it. Drink a whole bunch of liquids. Drink a whole bunch of liquids before you come on the show.
That's right. Somebody asked me the other day, "What's your longest stream?" And we're talking about gaming, and I'm like, probably 8 or 9 feet, depending on how hard I try.
So, Lynn, you're probably dealing with something I probably have been dealing with a lot is with this COVID stuff. You've been dealing with your parents, or some of your grandparents or parents.
My mom's 85, and she's totally
I remember you were talking about
drives
that.
and stuff. And that age population, it's very hard because for her, she doesn't live close to me. She's about 3.5 hours away, and her social circle was everything, or is everything to her. And the fact that they couldn't go to somebody's house because that person was at higher risk than maybe somebody else her age, and so that mobility, going to the movies, going to lunch, going to the casino, doing whatever. I mean, her bubble became very, very small, and that was the hardest thing for her. And I wouldn't go see her because I work in healthcare. And she's like, I've been quarantining. I'm like, no, I don't want to give you something. We'll wipe out your entire senior circle by me coming to visit, you know? So for her, yeah, it was a big impact. She's seriously over it.
Yeah, we have the same problem up here. Sherry's mother. We can bring her over once in a while, but she used to get locked down for 14 days. It was like a penalty.
Oh my God, she came over. Yeah.
But now they're actually letting last time she came over, she didn't have to go into lockdown again. For being out.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it's just been sad because it's been almost a half a year now, and Sherry has not seen her mother's room yet.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got to go in once right at the beginning to fix her television and do some setups, and they put all kinds of garments on me and the whole works, and I got to go in, and very rare, but I'm sure he's never had permission to see her room.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
really they're sad. Just it's a fragile community, especially if they're institutionalized at all or in any kind of collective setting. It's been rough. I know that at the hospital that I work at, like no family comes with any of the patients unless they're demented or they can't sign their own consent or give a history. So anybody that's having any procedure, whether it's cancer treatment, heart treatment, you don't have your people. And so that's a huge pressure on us as caregivers, is that so they're there alone in these high stress situations, and there's that cushion of somebody they're familiar with being there for them, and that's the hardest thing, and I don't know when that's going to end.
If I can go with what Lynn is saying, she also knows I work in healthcare, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of situations where the nurses are calling me crying because a patient has expired and they can't call them to come say goodbye.
Yeah, it's awful. It's really awful.
You can only have one person at a time. So a mother wants to say goodbye to her mother or her father, but then she has to leave, and then they have to shift everything around so that a father can come in and say goodbye to whatever. And it's harder on these people that are on the front line in the hospitals doing these things, where I'm just on the phone and I'm hearing nurses who are normally really just straight to the point. You can hear them breaking down. I'm like, damn, this sucks.
It does. Well, and you've got maybe elderly people that don't know how to use FaceTime. They don't know how to use their device.
That would be Sherry's mom.
Trying to navigate them with, I've got my Cricket flip phone. Well, you're not going to FaceTime on that, and we're all over it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Flynn, you've been dealing with your parents a little bit.
Oh yeah, my dad has a flip phone. On that note, it's got a flip phone, and his wife has a FaceTime. But it's 2021 has been an SHIT show for me.
Yeah,
in terms of family. Yeah.
It's kind of funny. It's like Sherry's mother has nothing to do with electronics. I mean, the only piece of electronics that she'll do is maybe a remote to a television, and that's hard. And so she was over here 2 weeks ago, and Jaylyn was here too. And she got to go finally see the gardens and see our greenhouse and all the new things we're doing. And she was totally thrilled about it. And then she heard, and I filmed a little bit of it. She goes, well, I didn't know you filmed all this. I go, I film every day. Well, I want to watch it. And it's like,
oh,
you can. And it's like, but she doesn't know how to take her television to YouTube and pull up our channel, and she could actually see her old gardens and everything every day if she wanted to. And it's like so sad.
Yeah.
But I mean, she just does not like technology at all.
If it wasn't for the fact that we got my grandmother an iPhone after Hurricane Sandy, we would probably never see her face to face. We taught her how to answer the phone, and much like Sherry's mother, she is not into tech. So when I showed her my whole setup with 4 computer screens and my mixing board and my computers here, she probably thought I worked for the CIA.
That would be cool.
What is that? What are these?
So,
Pat. Is this thing on? Pat.
I think I got enough time. I got to ask this group a question. Has anybody avoided going to the doctor, or are we going to the doctor more or less in the last year?
Jeez.
Never.
Not more.
Because of the CV-19 stuff.
No, I've always been non-compliant. I'm terrible.
Yeah,
Never.
I don't go more, but it doesn't bother me if I had to go. I've had a couple appointments, but it just is what it is.
I've had several appointments. I just go. I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm just careful. That's it.
Yeah.
I just go. But
Last
here in
time I went to the
Texas,
hospital, it was against my will.
literally, yeah.
I have to say I helped a family with one of their sons who was crossing over, and spent time in the hospital, but it didn't make me more nervous or anything like that. So,
Yeah, same here.
I think I had the opposite, where I needed to see a specialist and they would only do the appointment.
Telemedicine.
And I really felt like to really get the coverage I needed to go in and actually be there, but I couldn't get that service. So that was really frustrating to still get charged everything, but I felt like I'm like, you can't, like,
especially
why?
if it was like an OBGYN.
Yeah, how's that going to look on camera?
Yeah.
Can I show you this right here? It's right.
Yeah.
Hold on.
It was
hold
not
on.
quite that bad.
Let me turn around backwards. Hold on a
For
second.
All of a sudden, you have an
Let me
all of a
show
sudden
you.
you have an OnlyFans that you didn't expect you had.
I'm like, wow, this is a great
Can
show.
you see this?
What a great show.
And
Zoom
then
in.
you can forward all those pictures to your friends.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, I did that when I was getting a colonoscopy. I woke up from the actual, the stuff they gave you. and
Twilight.
I was all fried, and what did I wake up to? 45-inch LCD crystal TV of my butthole. Yeah, I was
You're
pretty
like, "Put me
impressed.
back
I
out,
was
put me back out."
Put me back down. I really don't want to watch this program.
Yeah.
It's really
Somebody
a shit
needs
show.
to cancel that show.
That is not a good show.
One thing I remember
Yeah, she
waking up
wasn't
from
done
one of
yet.
I remember waking up from having that done, and it seemed like I was at a Mexican restaurant. It's like,
Wow.
these people have a lot of gas here.
Well, and I was in a training school kind of class thing, so they brought in, says, you mind if I bring in a few of my associates? So they had like 5 extra people in there, like all of them were like girls, and it's like, oh look, okay, so this is asshole, and this is what we're gonna do with
So
this.
let me ask you a question.
Are you
In all
freaking
seriousness,
kidding me?
you're having a
Okay.
colonoscopy done, right? So, it's seriousness. Do you do that face down, or do
You're
they
on your
like flip
side.
you?
Oh no,
You're on your
So you're
side.
on your
Okay.
side.
Because in my mind, I see you over like a chair, kind of bent over with your ass up, and then in my mind, George is
It's
like,
not a
sure.
prison colonoscopy.
In my
you
mind,
haven't
George is
had
like,
one
sure.
yet, have you, Jayce?
No, George is like,
Oh,
sure,
yeah.
you can
Oh,
let
you're
5
looking-
people in. So instead of them coming down to his level, like, hey, we're going to be in here, they just pat him on the ass. What's up, George? Hey, how you doing, man? Nice to meet you. How's it going?
Yeah, man.
That's what happened in my mind.
Yeah, well,
It was
way-
kind of like that because
Jace,
everybody
the way
got
it
a
works,
good
you
look.
bend over,
I'm like,
they do the little hose thing. When you start to gag a little bit, you tell them they pushed it in too far.
Okay.
Just
Yeah,
like,
when your voice changes, it's
that's right.
Oh, that's funny.
ah.
It's all right. You know the difference between a rectal and an oral thermometer? The taste.
Ah. Not good,
Here
not
comes the nurse
good.
jokes.
So wrong.
Terrible. You guys are awful people.
I don't know.
So what else does anybody miss from a year ago that's that they're not doing today, or something that they're glad they're doing now, and or surprised they like it, like being alone? Jayce seems to like to being alone in the closet now.
I find that it's really hard to get time alone. Like when everyone is working remotely, the kids are doing school at home. Like, and there doesn't seem to be a door you can hide behind for even like 30 seconds just to have your own space. That's the hardest part, I think, is just having that, like, that, you know, individual space that sometimes you need, especially when you are all packed in the same space. I think that's the hard. Not as big as Jayce's.
It's just a walk-in. It's not even that big.
Dude, the only place I can hide in my house is on the toilet. Then, you know, there's only so much. I'm like, I am that mom that has like shut the door, sat on top of the toilet seat, and pretended to go just to have 5 minutes. I'm like, I don't care. You can think I died.
Do you know how many times I've answered my kids from this room when they knock on the bathroom door? I'm like, hang on a second. And they just walk away. Yeah,
mine would have just opened the door. Mine would be like, okay, well, while you're sitting there, let's talk.
Yeah. Oh man.
Here, Mom, I'll be your audience.
Yeah. Well, this is gonna take a while, so I'm just gonna get my questions in while you're cornered. No, it don't work. That's the hardest thing. But you know what? I will. If that's my only complaint, I am happy to take it because I think, you know, I'm not gonna like. There's a lot of bad things, but I think there's also a lot of positive things that have come through the experience. I think some people are not taking the time to, you know, enjoy those things that come out. Like, number one, I feel that the work environment is getting so much more supportive and understanding for the working family, or people that have, you know, parents to take care of. I find that everyone is so much more understanding. Like, my son needs something while I'm on a call, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's great." Where before it would have been kind of like. Kind of frowned upon. Yeah. But now
that's a good point out.
Yeah, I really love that the corporate side of it is now embracing a little more. They're always talking about work-life balance, but they've never embraced what that really meant until this happened. And it's been so nice that like everyone, and including my customers, are just like, hey, is that your son? He's so cute. Can we say hi? And like just these little refreshing moments, or, you know, like these little things that break up and it make people real, and you don't have to always be so serious.
Going on the opposite side of that, because of less wear and tear in my car, we've actually paid off 2 cars.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay,
able to pay off stuff. A lot of people have that.
Off a little bit here. So
because I'm not going to work and spending gas and insurance and mileage and wear and tear. We've paid off 2 cars. So
that's awesome.
Very cool. Hey, we're going to follow up on some of these subjects next week, but I want to thank the crew. We actually had a nice full house, and I like the fact we have more gals and guys this time. That's cool.
I know, it's awesome.
Next week, hopefully, we can get Jay back in, and maybe John, if he can make it. He's really been pushing hard on his radio station, so it's kind of hard, but he's doing a good job. So anyway, guys, I want to thank you very much. Do not hang up. I'm just going to put us into shutdown mode here. And next week we'll be on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and you can find us on Good Talk Radio, and in the description below you can find all the different places you can find She Said, He Said. So everybody have a nice night. Be safe, and
adios. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Happy Cinco.
Thank you very much for watching our video. Please take the time to like, subscribe, and share our videos all over the whole wide world. Thanks.